Once upon a time, in a small village in Africa, secluded deep within a dense and vibrant forest, where trees stretched towards the sky and leaves rustled in the gentle breeze, there lived a young girl named Ralia. She was a kind and gentle soul, with a voice as sweet as honey and a heart full of love. Ralia's family faced many challenges as her mother was blind and her father had a broken back, making him too weak to work. Despite their struggles, Ralia's parents instilled in her a strong sense of hope and determination. Ralia's days were filled with chores and responsibility. She would wake up early in the morning to help her mother with household tasks and then assist her father in any way she could. Despite the hardships, Ralia never complained. She found solace in singing, and her melodious voice brought joy to everyone in the village. The villagers often gathered around her to listen to her songs, and her voice became a symbol of hope and resilience. One day, while collecting firewood in the deep forest, Ralia got lost. She wandered deeper into the woods, searching for a path back home, but the trees seemed to close in around her, and she became more and more disoriented. As night began to fall, Ralia stumbled upon a small cottage surrounded by a garden filled with strange and colorful plants. An old witch named Mama Dada lived in the cottage, and she offered Ralia shelter for the night. Ralia hesitated but eventually accepted the offer. Mama Dada was a mysterious and powerful woman with a long white dread and piercing green eyes. She was known throughout the land for her magical powers and her ability to grant wishes, but at a steep price. Ralia was both fascinated and intimidated by the old witch, but she was also desperate for a place to stay. Mama Dada offered her a warm meal and a soft bed, but as they sat down to eat, she revealed her true intentions. "Ralia, my dear, you have a voice like sugar," Mama Dada said, her eyes glinting with a sinister light. "I will give you shelter and protection, but in return, you must give me your voice." Ralia was horrified. She loved to sing and used her voice to bring joy to those around her, but Mama Dada was insistent, and Ralia was trapped. She agreed to the witch's terms, and Mama Dada took her voice away with a wave of her hand. From that day on, Ralia was forced to work in the garden, tending to strange and colorful plants that grew there. She was not allowed to speak or sing, and she was trapped in the cottage with no way to escape. Mama Dada was cruel and demanding, and Ralia's life was one of drudgery and silence. Back in her village, Ralia's parents were worried and sick. They searched the forest for their daughter, but she was nowhere to be found. The villagers whispered about the witch's curse and how Ralia had been taken by Mama Dada to be her servant. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months and years. It's already 4 years in the forest. Ralia's life in the cottage was difficult and lonely. She longed to see her parents and friends again and to sing with the birds in the forest. But Mama Dada's magic was strong and Ralia was trapped. One day, while within the garden, Ralia discovered a glowing sugarcane. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before. It seemed to pulse with a warm golden light. Without thinking, she pulled it out of the ground and took a bite. The sweetness exploded in her mouth, and suddenly her voice was restored. Ralia was overjoyed. She sang with all her might, and the sound of her voice was like music to her ears. Mama Dada was furious when she heard Ralia singing. and she tried to cast a spell to silence her again. But the sugarcane's magic was stronger, and Ralia's voice could not be taken away. With her voice restored, Ralia found the courage to escape from the cottage. She ran through the forest, singing as she went, and the trees seemed to part to let her through. She stumbled and fell, but she got up again, determined to find her way home. As she ran, Ralia's voice carried far and wide, and it reached the ears of a prince who was out hunting in the forest. He was taken aback by the beauty of her singing, and he followed the sound of her voice until he found her lying unconscious on the ground. The prince took Ralia to his palace, where she was welcomed with open arms. He was enchanted by her voice and her story, and he asked her to stay with him and be his queen. Ralia was hesitant at first, but the prince was kind and gentle, and he promised to take care of her parents and protect her from Mama Dada's wrath. Ralia agreed to marry the prince, and their wedding was a grand affair. The whole kingdom came to celebrate, and Ralia's parents were overjoyed to see their daughter happy and safe. The prince and Ralia ruled the kingdom with kindness and wisdom, and Ralia's voice was heard throughout the land, bringing joy and hope to all who had it. Mama Dada, the old witch, was punished by her own magic, and her powers began to wane. She tried to harm Ralia and her loved ones, but the sugarcane's magic protected them. In the end, Mama Dada's magic turned against her, and she was left powerless and alone. And here are some moral lessons from the story of Ralia. 1. Hope and determination. Despite facing numerous challenges, Ralia's parents instilled in her a strong sense of hope and determination. This teaches us that maintaining a positive outlook and being determined can help us overcome difficult situations. Second is kindness and generosity. Ralia's kind and gentle nature, as well as her willingness to help her parents and bring joy to the villagers through her singing, highlights the importance of being kind and generous to others. Resilience in adversity. Ralia never complained about her hardship and found solace in singing. This shows the value of resilience and finding joy even in tough times. Courage and sacrifice. Ralia's decision to accept Mama Dada's offer, despite knowing the potential consequences, demonstrates courage and the willingness to make sacrifices for the sake of survival. And we have good triumphs over evil. The story's conclusion, where Mama Dada's magic turns against her and Ralia finds happiness, reinforces the idea that good ultimately triumphs over evil. The importance of family and community. Ralia's longing to return to her parents and the villagers' concern for her well-being emphasize the importance of family and community support.